All right, testing, 1, 2, 3. Do we have sound? Yeah, I was more of a Public Enemy guy. I liked the politics of it. Now people just rap about how awesome they are, how fast their car is, how much money they make, how many girls they sleep with. You're like, not very interesting. Yeah. All right. Let's see if I can get this working. Base, how low can you go? Bring the noise. Back, looking for the same thing. It's a new thing. Check out this Supreme. Oh, I'm in the low next to the base. Turn up the radio. All right. All right. Kitchen. Let's get that back. There we go. All right. Nice and humid this morning. Good. Let's see. We got desktop. We got what? Webinar. Yeah. Boy, it's a little slow. Just all right. So what is it? A Tuesday? What is it? The 28th of March? Really? Holy smokes, eh? Let's go. All right, Coolio. Hey, good morning, everybody. Let me remind you that trading is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results, but please always stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, and never risk money you cannot afford to lose. Ni hao ma. My name is Wayne McDonald. I am the Chief Market Strategist for TradersWay.com. Thank you for being a client. Do these at 7:30 in the morning, Monday through Thursday here at forex.today. But absolutely for free. Thank you for being a client of Traders Way. If you're not, please go to tradersway.com, open up a demo account, and give us a chance to earn your respect and your loyalty. You'll find me first Friday of every month at FX Street for Trade Farm Payrolls Live, which I've been doing pretty close to 12 years now. Is that right? 11 years. 12. I don't know. It's a lot. Does anybody know? I actually don't know. Yeah, that is really something I don't even know. Good going. Yeah. All right. Yeah. End of the month. Start looking at peso. Yeah, maybe it's a bit early, but yeah. Okay. Yeah. Maybe a day or two early, but not. I guess it's never too early to look and prepare. Funny thing is, it's been heading down for a while, huh? Look at this trend line is still valid. Look at this trend line we did. Hang on, I'm trying to get to this. There you go. Still valid, huh? How do you want to draw it? Like that? Have two trend lines, maybe? Yeah, the way to do it, if you want to do it that way. MT4 is a little quirky when you do these channels compared to other platforms, but I'm not complaining. You can look at it that way, right? I suppose you could pitchfork it too. Does anybody here use Andrew's pitchfork? Yeah. No, not really. Yeah. Yeah, you can get quite a bit into it. Yeah, yeah. There's stuff out there. Yeah, when David Pegler used to work for me, before he worked for me, he did a lot of study for in regards to Andrew's pitchfork. And out of respect for him, I ended up calling them Pegler's pitchfork because I didn't give a damn about Andrew. Yeah. Yeah, no, David's great. All right. What am I going to do? What are we looking at? Oh, yeah, peso. That's right. Yeah, a little bit early, but seems like it was last month's trade, doesn't it? So here's the first of the month. Just beauty, huh? Have you been paying attention to the news out of the Bank of Mexico? Carstens has been saying a lot in the last several weeks or several, maybe even a month and a half. That's been driving some peso strength. So if you've been watching it, you've probably been trading it. And if you've been trading it, you've probably been making money. So coolio. So anyways, going into the first of the month, you would expect this to continue, but you should expect the unexpected. Okay. But this is your sell zone if you are looking to sell USD Mexican peso this month. That is your sell zone. We're already through the monthly target, however. It's ridiculous, isn't it? So it's like extremely oversold. And very often what you look for is a counter trend trade in a scenario like that, right? When you blow through the monthly targets. See, the aggressive monthly target was 1894. Okay. We went down to 1874. So we overshot the monthly target. So I wouldn't freak out too much, but there's a lot of support down here. We overshot our monthly target. The new central will drop quite a bit, probably be near the support pivot. It'll be about 1970 maybe. And so there could be a retracement back to that future new central pivot and down. So just be careful. But as long as we're below that channel, we seem to be fine. Go far out there. All right, so it's pretty important we keep it below that blue line. So in fact, if you were actively trading this today, which you're probably not, so don't spend too much time on it. You want to see it below that, right? Have it roll over now. Well, Ryan, you don't have to sell it at the end of the month. You can wait to the first of the month, right? When you get new pivots, so you're not at the pivot. I highly recommend not doing anything that makes you want to vomit. There's probably a good reason, right? All right. So anyways, take a look at this. I think if you recall, yesterday, we talked about how the week opened up very high up near resistance. This cluster here, and then just above it, M4, and that you can't buy it, and that maybe you can sell it. And even then, because it's an uptrend, you probably want to wait for like a double top and then a drop. Okay, so this is where it comes into play now, right? So here's what's happened in the last 24 hours. It went up, hit, look at that, hit the weekly to the pip or to the ounce, and then dropped. Okay, the next part of a bearish plan would be allow it to rally up. And what does the 55 suggest? I know it didn't really happen here, and it didn't really happen here, but what does it suggest? Double top. So why don't you think to yourself, well, it could double top? And if it does, if you're a bear, wouldn't you want to get involved now? Or not now, but if that happens, I mean. Okay. And of course, you could possibly get the lower high right here in this pivot cluster, right in there. So your call, my friend. Okay. And a bull, you would have already done it, 5 hours ago. And if you didn't, then you're not a bull. Right? Because it's simple price action stuff, right? You can see this resistance becomes that support. So you didn't do it. You didn't buy it off the 55. You didn't buy it off the roll reversal. Didn't buy it off the cycle level of 1250. So you're not a bull. That's it. Or you're asleep at the wheel. A train wreck ready to happen. You trade like a wrecking ball. All right. Cool. So that's gold. You notice again, you just can't buy it. I mean, you can buy it here and then maybe get it up there, but it's risky. You know, it's even worse, Ryan, is sleeping in the shower. Yeah, especially if you live at the YMCA. Yeah, I got that one. Nice. I went right over the top. You were typing yours, and that was even worse. Just right over the top. Yeah. All right. What's going on here, huh? What's going on here? Maybe maybe stuff like this was considered resistance. You stink. Beast, huh? To the beasties. Well, we knew where the support is. and we were identifying higher levels of resistance. I think if you recall yesterday, we were thinking like 39 or up here 40 or 39.60. Looks like here. Interesting, right? Just support and resistance. Remember, that kind of support and resistance is way more important when you're range bound. We're not trending, remember? Notice how key support and resistance is. We're still not quite ready to move, huh? Yeah, it's quite a wedge, huh? And just look at how obvious that is, huh? Just imagine all the amateurs that just don't get it. Do you feel bad for them? It's like asking a senior frat boy if he feels bad swinging the swinging the paddle. Oh yeah, he feels real bad. Okay, so we'll have to see what's going on there. Of course, if you're a bull, you're kind of getting in the zone where you want to think about what you want to do. Buck 38 is okay, right? Well, buck 38.50 is okay. Buck 38-ish, you know, buck 30, buck 38.30, better. Okay. 15 minutes ready to go. So, yeah, I'd look at things like the midpoint psych, you know, that kind of stuff's going to be very important. Okay. 15 minutes says it's way oversold. It's wanting to go up. It is 93 points. What do you want to call it? 85. 93.85% oversold. So in this situation, you think in the next, let's say, 45 minutes, it'll head up. How many candles? How many 5-minute candles is in 45 minutes? Ryan's struggling with the algebra. Come on, Ryan. Yeah, so in the next 9 candles, it should go up. So the next 5-8 cross up, maybe? I'm going to connect that to that, and drag that over for later. It's going to be important later, eh? Give myself a little momentum. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Crikey, she's a beaut. Oh, yeah. Gotta zoom in there. Oh, oh, hey, oh, ah, yeah, oh, oh. Ah! Oh, hey, whew. Tickle, tickle. Tickle, tickle. So this will be a key test because obviously this is price action resistance. So if we break through that and then above that, then you got yourself a potential, 1, 2, 3, or at least a higher low type thing. Da, 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 da. So if it does reverse here, I'm guessing it's going to look like this, right? And then come back down to this area here, right? Like that. And then it would head up. There. Well, it's got to go one more, doesn't it? So, and then it would go up to the next, something like that. If it goes up. So that's what you're looking for, and this is what you're creating your plan. It's a midpoint psych level of support, a little bit of a role reversal. Okay, remember I said right here is where you'd be challenged. Challenged you were. Take a look on the fiber, still first touch. La 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 la. Zooming in here with our microscope. Okay. Well, the reason we're watching this is there isn't much support below it for quite some time, right? Sing us a song, you're the trader man. Sing us a song tonight. And of course, the 15-minute is ridiculously oversold. So maybe it stays oversold because everybody's selling it, but often a midpoint cycle will garnish some sort of bounce, but not necessarily. If you were a bear, you'd be moving your stops closer, locking in profit. Yeah, that's cool. So how many years is 131? I don't know. Hey, by the way, I started my new computer before this webinar started. So like 10 minutes before the webinar started. What time is it now? 8:07. So it's been 45 minutes. And it's just getting to the Windows desktop. That's a little slow, right? For a Windows 10 machine, brand new with no software installed except MT4. And it's still not ready to go. It just got to the desktop part, but it'll probably take another half an hour before it'll all settle down and be usable. Yeah, why? A brand new Windows machine? Windows 10? That seems a little slow, right? Well, first of all, it's not a PC, so I know they're supposed to run lots of background tests and stuff when you boot, but 5 minutes is maybe acceptable, but 45? I don't know, so I'll have to ask them. Right. So yeah, I don't know what to do now. I'm frustrated. I think I don't know. I think next time. I think next time I'll just spend like 10 grand, and I'll get like a bunch of like six. I'll get like six 6K monitors and just live on 6 screens. Just have a PC that runs 6 screens, so I'll have like $2,000 in video cards, but whatever. It's sick. Yeah, it's still struggling to load the desktop. I'm just sitting there doing this thing. Well, meanwhile, we're waiting for this to maybe hold, waiting for this to maybe head up. At least we found a good line for it to hold, right? Okay, remember, a bear sells it here, or a bear sells it here. Okay, not after the break, so I'm going to do it like that. Okay, let's say before that. So if it's spiked up here, you could still sell it. Okay, if it breaks above that, you need to put your bearish bias on hold, at least on this time frame. You just know when amateurs see like 3 candles like that, they sell, huh? All right, here's a shot for a bear. If you're a bear and you're going for it, and you think it's going to drop another 100 pips, you'd be watching this area very closely. I, however, am waiting for it to break to the upside, and we'll see what happens. I'll remind you that on the 15-minute chart, it's 90, what was it, 93% oversold? No, 96% oversold, wasn't it? I don't know, heavily oversold. Look, some bears got in, huh? Aye. Here we are watching 1-minute candles. We know the bears are right here. How interesting. Now there's a little battle going on. Hey. Amazing that, look at the red candle right on my line. Bulls and bears. Battling it out, huh? Another test. That bodes very poorly for the bears because they already charged the line, huh? You think they'll try again, or is that it on the bears side? Was that the rebel yell? Well, the rebel yell, she cries more. There we go, a little higher. Here's the next level for bears at 138.63 and a half. Let's just round it. 160. 138.64. We'll just round. That looks about like a 786 to me. What do you think? Let's take a look. About a 786. Oh, yeah, pretty close. Sorry, I'm half a pip off. Sorry, getting old. I can't see so well. Bring the laptop to my face so I can see. Wow, somebody took the 786. Now that's desperate. That's a sign of being desperate. Really? You sold the 786. Well, they already tried the 618. You see what I mean? So the 786 predicts a double bottom. Like if they do charge the line, we get back to here and then it pops back up the other way. That's pretty desperate. Like, why would you wait that long? Like, why wouldn't you sell it at 50? Well, I guess, we're at, that's the 50. So why would you wait that long to dump it? Kind of lame, huh? So I said, what, 64? Looks like 61 was the top for the sell zone for the bears. How funny, eh? Let's see where we are on the Cinco. Just trying to get the oscillator up into the sell zone or into the buy zone. Okay, 786 of the 1 minute predicts a double bottom. Still think that's pretty lame for the bears, but maybe we're the only ones watching the 1 minute, huh? 5 minute chart still hasn't given you the green light for a long. But this says it's going to try. But there's still no 5-8 cross here. And once again, a 786 is not the best ever. Now remember how price action works. When it makes a lower low, you use the old support as resistance. Okay. So that's sort of the last desperate attempt in here for that. Oh, look, my computer's trying to load the desktop now. It's struggling. Yeah, I got the icons up, but now it's trying to load the wallpaper image. Yeah. No, you crazy, right? You crazy. Okay. A big nothing on oil, right? So yeah, oil's going up. Now, I find it interesting when we get down to levels of support and resistance that we think are important for oil. Have you noticed that then something, how would you describe it? Something fundamental seems to happen. Like, for example, oil's going up now because Libya shut down a pipeline. Really? Right? You ever notice that? And you're like, well, that's funny. That happened when it was at support, right? That's funny. It's going up because of Libya. You're like, well, that's great because I'm buying it because it's double bottom, right? Did you ever notice that? There's always some other reason. Libya shut down the pipeline. Well, thank you, Libya. Thank you. It's not the Libyans, it's the Iranians. It's not the Iranians, it's the Nigerians. No one ever says anything about the Angolans, though. I don't know. I'd keep my eye on the Angolans. Yeah. Oh, look, my desktop background is almost loaded. It's on 14 of the screens. Almost. Almost. Good job, Windows 10. Good job. So, anyways, I hope you enjoy the fact that you're becoming a smart trader, right? Because very serious people follow and think about the markets the way that you used to. You're like, oh man, it's the Nigerians, oh, it's Zuma, and all these different things. Meanwhile, you're like, well, actually, it might be, but I've been waiting for this to happen for about 3 days, and it happened exactly at my line. Just an amazing coincidence. But it's great to have these unexpected things happen right where you expect them to happen. Great. So I always appreciate just knowing a little bit more than some, at least, right? So here we are sitting here. Oil may be going up, but whatever. So you tell me, are oil inventories going to be low or high tomorrow? Okay, and then back up your answer with some sort of reason. Why would oil inventories be low, Travis? Oil inventories. We're not talking price. Oil inventories. Well, the pipelines in Libya, oil inventories is by the United States of America. So I guess it depends on when things get pumped and stuff. But like we can look at some facts that'll point at least to the near future. Hang on, I'm stretching. All right. The rig count went up by the largest increase in rigs in the Gulf of Mexico in like a long time. I think they turned on like 10 new rigs or something. Why don't we Google that, huh? Baker Hughes rig count. Hang on. BakerHughes.com. I want specifically the rig count. Baker. Oh, I see what happened. Baker Hughes rig count. I didn't even spell it right. Did you mean Baker Hughes rig count? No, I didn't. But we'll go with that anyways. All right. So, oh, look at that. Up by 20. Check this out, guys. 345 more rigs now than a year ago. Oh, really? Holy smokes, huh? Oh, my pleasure, Russ. That's amazing, isn't it? And look, 130 out of Canada. Meanwhile, you know, they're shutting down rigs in Baku or something. Hey, has anyone been to Baku, to the Caspian Sea? Seems like an incredibly beautiful place and a place to go visit. You're gonna have to deal with like Turkish and Russian tourists, but at least you wouldn't get, you know, big fat ugly Americans, right? You'd get big fat ugly Russians. No one here's been to Baku. I always want to go to Baku. But anyways, all right. So week over week, we added 20 more rigs in the Gulf of Mexico. Pretty amazing, don't you think? And at some point, that's going to add to oil inventories, right? Wouldn't you think? So this maybe doesn't happen on, I mean, I guess I don't even know what this actually means. Like, does this mean they've turned them on and they're pumping oil? When drilling rigs are active, they consume products and services produced by the oil industry. The active rig count acts as a leading indicator for demand of products used in drilling. Yes. So maybe you're buying stock for companies that, you know, but they're probably already at a premium. It doesn't actually define what it means to activate one of these. But anyways, so let's just assume there's 20 more oil rigs producing oil. Have you seen the size of these rigs? Where's Baku? You're joking. You don't know your caucus? It's in that huge Caucasus region. Yeah. Yeah, Azerbaijan. Don't say Armenia, huh? Azerbaijan. Caspian Sea. Come on, man. By the way, my machine still hasn't loaded the desktop image. still trying, and it comes on and it goes off and it's flickering, it's trying its best. Wow. Yeah, Baku. So, but anyways, so let's say it doesn't even affect today's inventories. Okay, let's just say it takes a little bit of time. But don't you think with this trend in place where we're going up and up and up, like 350 rigs almost in 12 months, right? Right? And the rate, at least week over week, the rate of them going up is increasing even more. And these rigs are huge, guys. They're huge. They're massive facilities. So I have a feeling they're pumping a lot of oil, right? The rate of change for them is going up, and demand in the United States should be going up, but basically very, very, very slowly. And the rate that we're producing energy is very, very quick, right? So the rate of change way outstrips the, right? So anyways, this is interesting, I think. An oil inventory is based on like this type of analysis. I would have to guess would be high. Now we're at all-time highs for supplies in the United States, otherwise known as inventory, and it's expected to go even higher. Okay, you should be in the business of building oil storage facilities. I know somebody that does. And when oil prices are low, he makes a fortune. Because if oil prices are low, you rent his storage facilities, you pump it full of your oil worth, I don't know, 100 million bucks, let's say. Maybe that's even low, but let's say 100 million bucks. And if oil prices recover, let's say $3, it might be what? $12 million, right? Let's say. If you're right, you see what I mean? So you pay a lot for the storage because you're desperate to hang on for prices to go up a little bit, right? But so long story short here, when we look at this, it looks like we're producing more. Inventories shouldn't be dwindled down because demand is just so much greater than supply, or the ability to produce more. I don't feel like demand is just so unbelievably high that we're producing more, but we're consuming even more than that. I don't feel like we're in that world. So we're producing a lot. But also, I've shared with you my research going back 50 years, on average, normally. Like, granted, this is not a normal world. The last 10 years have not been like normal years, maybe whatever. But oil inventories tend to rise until, on average, June 1st. So with that in mind, I can't help thinking, well, it ain't June yet. My cherry blossoms are blossoming. My cherry trees are blossoming. That ain't a June thing. So yeah, inventory should go up. Right? When's the next OPEC meeting? May what? Come on, guys. Henley, you should know this. Right? You should know this. May. Come on. Nobody? Oy vey. Seriously? You don't track your OPEC meetings? May 25th, I think. Ah, May 25th! Hoo-ha! Yeah, May 25th. Come on, guys, really? You're letting the old man whoop your butt here. So, took you guys a long time to type May 25th. So anyways, isn't that a coincidence that my 50 years of research indicates that June 1st is the peak? But I'm tracking monthly data. And then when we look at OPEC meetings, just before June 1st, there's a meeting. Ha! Whew! That is amazing. Yeah, Ryan's got to sharpen up the energy fundies. Well, right? You could take a 13-week class on energy at a major university. So, yeah, no, I enjoyed that class actually a lot. So anyways, there we go. So I'm going to think that oil inventories are going to be high. They're at all-time highs. They probably will go higher. At some point, they can't go higher because there's nowhere to put this stuff. But they're not really going to dwindle down. And Libya, let's say Libya cuts back production. Okay, great, right? Do you think Gaddafi invested a lot of money into his oil facilities when he had the chance? I wonder what the efficiency is, huh, on those stuff. But anyway, so they take that down for a while. Nobody, honestly, I think will care. Not even the Libyans. Yeah, maybe the Libyans will care, right? So yeah, so I think that's oil maybe goes up for a while, but I wouldn't be bullish. Now, the other way of dealing with it is you buy it because it is support. Okay, that kind of stuff. Remember, because we're above the M2, you make a choice here. You play it like an S1 or you play it like an M2. So your target's either 49.41 or your target is 50. 49.41 or 50. Okay. Or you just be ready. Where do you want to sell it? Well, Bear would want to sell it at 48.85, 49.41, or 50. Or sell at 48.85 and have a stop at higher than that, let's say. So 49.85. That doesn't quite get you enough. But anyways, be ready, man. Be ready. I'd have to think this 48.85, $49 a barrel. If you were going to sell again in the future, that would be interesting. But where we are is supportive. No, right? If you go back to where we were, and we've been watching this now for 3 weeks, this price level. So again, what an amazing coincidence. Right? The Libyans, the Libyans, the Libyans. Yeah, 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 yeah. The Libyans. So this is USD CAD support, 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 support. M2 going for M4, monthly M4, weekly M4. Maybe. That'd be strong dollar, strong US dollar, weak Canadian dollar, or some sort of combination of both. Seems reasonable. Okay. Bum 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 bum. So play that out. Just be patient. Nothing's really changed there. Oh, our beast broke below. It's weird. The bears would have waited that long. So what was the next level on the 15? Do you guys happen to remember? Oh yeah. 38, 30 or 38. You gotta have to love the 38, right? Weekly M2, but we already have that. Let's see. I don't like it when pivots are not playing a role. I think we knew this because it's range bound. But doesn't it bother you? And it's like, it's resistance, but it's not a psych level. It's not a pivot point. Maybe it was a daily, but come on. All that kind of stuff. Just feels 38.10. Yeah, that makes sense to me. I think you're going to be challenged at 29. But I'm good with that. I understand your logic. Okay. I think we were here 24 hours ago. Was it here? Yeah, I guess it would have been around here. And we knew we couldn't buy it. Oh, yeah, it was, in fact, it was here because then it spiked while we were doing the webinar, right? Like, even if it's going up, I told you, right? Right? I told you, even if it's going up, you can't buy it. You can prepare to sell at 109, but you can't buy it. Is that true? Is that a true statement? Well, while we were doing the webinar yesterday, I said, well, it's going up, but you know you can't buy it. But you can sell it at 109 because it's resistance. You can't buy it at resistance. But if you wanted to be a bear, you would have to prepare to sell it at 109, right? 109 being 109, 109, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. 109 is right there. This is like scalping 101 stuff, right? Come on, man. There it is. Crikey, huh? Tradable. Look at that, guys. Just totally tradable, huh? If you were expecting that to happen and you were watching it doing this, at some point you could have sold it, right? Remember, the hard part is deciding to be there and be at the ready. That's the hard part. So if you're sitting there thinking, watching all these green candles, you're like, yeah, it's going to hit 109, and then it's going to flip, stop, and reverse. And you're going to catch that, right? Especially if you're going to do a stop and reverse trade, you might as well throw down some PSAR. No? You're going to PSAR all over it? Okay. So when all right, so the PSAR, parabolic stop and reverse, uses volatility, and it's mistaught, in my opinion, a lot. There's a lot of people that misuse PSAR, and I think it's because they're selling new stuff, selling new training sessions or something. But a PSAR is really a suggested stop loss placement. Okay, and it uses volatility. So when volatility is high, right, it doesn't move at all. Okay, and then, or very little. And then when volatility is low, meaning you're not making lower lows or you're not making higher highs anymore, when volatility is low, then it moves the dot a lot. Okay, the logic here is if the market's moving up and down, but it's trending up, it doesn't want you to get knocked out, right? So it doesn't move the stop so that you don't get knocked out on volatility. As long as it's trending up, even if it's big up candles and big down candles, it's not going to adjust your stop loss, hardly at all. So you can see right in here, the dots are barely moving at all for many candles. Okay, so it's allowing the volatility to move, but it's moving in your favor, so you're not getting knocked out. So, right? And then when the market stops making lower lows, like in here, it moves the dots more quickly. Okay? So take a look at how these dots basically, imagine this is your stop loss. I mean, you're only adjusting at 1 pip, right? But it's falling, 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 falling. It's when it starts to consolidate that it starts moving the stop, right? So there's stop loss placements on volatility. It's try to let your winners run. And when it stops making a series of higher highs or lower lows, then it jams your stop in quickly to lock in as much profit as possible. You understand that? So when this stock is above price, what is it assuming you're doing? What is the assumption of your direction if PSAR is above the candles, like here? Yeah, that you're selling. So isn't it interesting that you're waiting to sell after a touch of 109, and then like 4 or 5 candles later, it assumes you're already short and says, hey, here's your stop. So the way you do it is, let me put down a stop loss. Okay, so you're short about here, let's say, and then these are 5-minute candles, right? So 5 minutes later, you move your stop here. 5 minutes later, you move your stop here. 5 minutes later, you move your stop here. So it's been 20 minutes, you've moved your stop like 2 pips, 4 pips maybe. And then you move it there, 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 and then you move it there. These are all 5-minute candles. And so now you're near break even, right? You just keep doing this. And eventually, look what happens. You stop making lower lows. And according to PSAR on this time frame, you get knocked out right there for profit. Okay? Because that's when you lose the volatility. Now, you'll see that there's lots of ups and downs on this 5-minute chart. Yeah, but it's a 5-minute chart. Okay, and there's a lot of idiots that use PSAR to get into a trade, but they're dumb. Okay. Here's a 15-minute chart. So what if your plan, you're scalping on the 5-minute or even the 1-minute to get in as close to 109 as possible, but then you want to make your decisions on a medium time frame like a 15-minute chart, right? That's a day trade or an intraday trade, right? For like the New York session, for example. And look at it, you got knocked out way down there, right? Way down here, you get knocked out. And that worked nice, right? Because remember, on the 5-minute or 1-minute chart, you're actually short about here, right? You were in it for many hours, and look where you got out, which ain't a bad place to get out, right? So your original stop on the 5-minute chart would have been about there. Your original entry would have been about there. Lovely, tell your mom. Okay, and it kept you in the trade until it just stopped falling. So you would never use a PSAR to get in, unless you bought someone else's stupid training course, but they're stupid. So you can listen to Uncle Wayne. if you made a decision, for whatever reason, okay, you made a decision to buy down in here because you're a bull and you saw this as support. Okay, don't let PSAR make those decisions for you. Okay, you wanted to buy, you identified support, and you bought, and because of the support, because of your analysis, not because of PSAR, then it's suggesting that your stop should be about here. Okay. Okay. That's it. Because if you listen to PSAR, right, you're supposed to buy it here, but then it fell. Okay. You should be buying it at support, not resistance. So don't do it because of PSAR. PSAR takes you out of a trade when you lose volatility. That's it. And so let's say you bought this on a 5-minute chart. This is a 15. So let's say you bought it on a 15-minute chart, but you thought it was a long-term swing. So maybe you made a decision on the 4-hour or the 1 hour. Let's do 1 hour. It's not ridiculous. Okay. Right. So let's say you made that decision to buy in here. You called it a roll reversal. I can't get the yellow over, but whatever. Okay. So you can see all that. It's your support zone, roll reversal, right? Trying to keep it above the 55, whatever you thought, right? Maybe back then you noticed this, whatever. So your plan was to buy it in here. You did. On this time frame, it's your stop is here. You see it? That's where your stop is. The X is your entry. And you let it run. Look at last Friday. Neat, right? You're in it from Friday to Monday. Looks like Friday, New York to Monday, New York. Cool, right? Kept you in the vast majority of the trade, didn't it? So Ryan, I missed your comment there. Would you sell the 5-8 cross above 21? Well, normally you wouldn't, right? So it depends on what you're doing. So you better have a counter trend strategy or a scalp or whatever, because you could scalp down into the 4-hour 21 off of a 1-minute or a 5-minute chart, right? So it really depends on what 21 you're talking about. Or you better have a trade plan that supersedes everything else. But you'll rarely hear me talk about, you know, selling a pivot cluster only because it's a pivot cluster into a 21. So in that scenario, what you would want to do is sell a 5-8 cross, not in front of the 21, but a double top, because at that point, just by the way that moving averages work, you're probably flattening out the 21 and it's breaching and showing signs of weakness, which would predict down to the 55 and then up and then down again. So, you know, generally not. How about that? Generally not. Generally what it says is, all right, I know you want to sell it, but it's too early. You're going to be in the first move, which is probably not the best move. All right. Like for example, what wave, when you study Elliott wave, what wave is the expansion wave? Three. So let's talk about that. So let's say you were going to sell, you know, a previous up move you thought was going to fall, and you wanted to take a 5-8 cross down, but it's still above the 21. So let's say the first wave you're planning on, right, the one you're going to sell with your 5-8 cross down above the 21, by definition, is going to be one wave. You're going to get a bounce. Where are you going to get the bounce? Probably the 21, right? But let's say your analysis is correct and the market, you did find a place where it will reverse, right? And that's going to be your third three wave, is the expansion wave. But really, I'll tell you what, here's what really happens. It's the second move that produces that. So no matter how you want to draw this, okay, most likely your first wave, your you know, the one that you're thinking about, the 5A cross down above a 21 is probably here, right? And the real one wave should be here, and the real three wave should be here. Ooh, look at that, my desktop image is almost loaded. Yeah, I think going on an hour and a half is a little slow for booting a computer, right? I think I'm underwhelmed. Right. So anyway, so when I tell you guys, don't, you know, there's no such thing as a first mover advantage, right? You should at least wait for the double top, or even the double top 1, 2, 3 hammock reversal, right? And this is why I tell you, this is how a market reverses, like an old man easing into a hot bath. Because I'm trying to help you avoid this fool's gold, right? You want to sell a cluster, even though it's an uptrend. Like, okay, I get the cluster, I get the resistance, and maybe you can make a few pips on a 1-minute chart, but it's not going to reverse on the first move. It'll take a second and probably even a third, right? Double top, lower low, lower high scenario. Okay. Oh man, look at the time. I've gone way too long again. Sorry, guys. You just excite me right now. So hey, peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May your profits be above average. Are you posting trade plans on forex.today? I hope so. Remember, if you're not spending the 20 minutes or so it takes to make a post, then you should be spending the 2 minutes it takes to leave comments. And if you don't even have 2 minutes because you're so busy, you're just that busy, you're really that busy, you don't have, Wayne, I don't have 2 minutes, then leave a thank you. That's got to take 10 seconds. Right? And then what? If you don't have 10 seconds or even a common courtesy, then you're just a lurker. So, may the pips be with you, may your profits be above average. I'll see you tomorrow, huh? Cheers. Thanks for being on my team.